What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is another gloomy day here in Ohio. So if you guys saw my last video, you guys know I'm pretty much taking my Jeep apart at the moment because I'm actually upgrading a lot of stuff on it. But last time we took these RBP running steps off, or the running boards, the power running boards, I just had too many problems with these damn motors. We have this tailgate actually kind of fell apart. We had a bad bearing that fell off, or not fell off but broke, so we had to replace that, waiting for parts for that from Road Armor. Obviously my spares here because it was just taking up too much room in the Jeep, so all that stuff is just piled up here in the corner. And today we're just going to continue taking the Jeep apart. Finally, we're going to mount the A-pillar mounts from Road Armor here. We're going to end up taking these off, the Artec dual mount for the cubes. I think I'm also going to get rid of these cubes with these mounts. I believe I have a buyer. He's just going to buy, or she is going to buy the whole package. So she's going to get all 4 of the lights and then the 2 mounts with the wiring harness and whatever. And then we'll just order a couple new lights, and then the 50-inch light bar mount will mount today. So with that, I know it's been kind of boring on the channel. We really have not even moved the Jeep, really, I don't think, in like the last couple videos. So I decided we're gonna pick up the camera and we're gonna take you guys for a ride. We're actually gonna head out to Home Depot. We actually have some bolts to get. Road Armor front bumper here. We need, if you can see, the winch plate mounts to my frame here, but also there's 2 holes here, so it mounts, the front of the frame mounts to like the front of the bumper here. I do have some spare bolts. These are the factory nuts that held the factory bumper on. Stupid camera died on me. Basically what I was saying is these are not the same thread pitch, so these will not go onto here, so we have to get 4 bolts, four nuts for these bolts, so we could finish mounting, like pretty much mounting the bumper and the winch plate to the actual frame. It's not, I mean, it's technically on there, but at the same time there's still, you know, a couple holes that we have to fill in like a non-sexual way, although that's also like what she said. Just gonna grab one of these bolts and head over to Home Depot because I think it's the only thing open right now during this quarantine. Still gotta figure out this damn backup camera situation because this is really starting to really annoy me. Also, I know what you guys are gonna say. Yeah, I'm growing out my my little quarantine beard. I'm just too lazy to shave. Honestly, at this point, it's just kind of like, I'm just gonna let it go and see what happens. Secondly, every time that you go to, especially if you own a Jeep, if you are in a parking lot and there's an open spot next to another Jeep, especially if you're bigger than them, you gotta, you know, you gotta stand your ground. You gotta show them that you got a smaller dick than them. I mean, he does have the same window tint, so I'll give him that. Of course, the one aisle I need is closed. Okay, so mission accomplished. We got the nuts that we need. I always hate saying that, it's so weird. We got the nuts that we need for the bolts. Unfortunately, our friend here didn't see us assert our dominance. We are about way bigger than him, so damn. Actually brings up a point. I was actually supposed to get something delivered yesterday, at least the tracking said yesterday, but it should be here today, I hope. A little surprise for you guys. I honestly didn't even know I was getting this until like a couple weeks ago. So excitement's building, so you guys will see if it comes today. Well, obviously you guys will probably guess what it is, but if it comes today, I'll show you guys in the video. So another big upgrade for the Wrangler, and another thing, we have to tear off the Jeep. So we're just continuing to tear this Jeep apart and almost kind of rebuild it, but not really. I mean, it's not like a build, it's just, you know, upgrading everything. Everything's getting upgraded. So yeah, this is it's been pretty crazy around here. We're getting a lot of parts in, a lot of parts painted, a lot of parts back from paint, and then now we're, well, uninstalling old stuff and installing new stuff. So yeah, a couple upgrades coming up soon. Let's go ahead and get these bolts on the front bumper, and then start tearing apart these A-pillar LED cubes. I'm really gonna miss them. They look so good. They're super sleek. shouldn't be too bad at all. Just some Torx bits, and then the hardest part is going to be taking the wiring back out and then rerunning wires once I got new lights back in there. Wiring is always like the hardest, like not the hardest, but the most time consuming part. You know, just trying to get it under there and make it look clean and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Also, just want to say thank you guys so much for 9,000 subscribers. I forgot to say that in the last video, but we reached 9,000 subscribers. We're very quickly on our way to 10,000 subscribers, which is kind of unreal because I don't know why, you know, 10,000 of you guys would want to subscribe to my channel, but I really appreciate it. I know I'm not as interesting as a lot of like other car YouTuber guys. I mean, they're like over editing and like doing all this like crazy stuff, and like, I mean, I'm just a simple guy, simple edits. I'm not trying to do anything too fancy. I'm just trying to be, you know, who I am to you guys, and you know, pretty much just build this Jeep by myself. I have a couple buddies, you know, along the way. You know, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I had some help building it, but at the same time, we're having fun. So really appreciate you guys. Almost at 10,000, so let's keep that going. If you guys have not already been here before, get down there, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It really helps like spread the, you know, algorithm, spread the video, so that way, you know, more people can see it and more people can subscribe, and the more we can do to this Jeep, the more we can kind of grow this channel and do more fun stuff. But again, really appreciate it, guys. 9,000 subscribers is just, I would have never thought that I would have hit that number. So let's get our way to 10,000 subscribers and then go straight to 100. Let's do it. All right, now that we got those out of the way, you can see this thing is not moving anywhere. Now we move on to the A-pillar mounts. We're gonna disassemble these. I'm probably gonna leave the lights attached just because it's kind of a pain in the ass to get those like fins inside of these fins and mount these little bolts. So I'm probably just gonna leave these all assembled and then undo the wiring harness and then move on to putting the A-pillar mounts back on. Alright, so I pretty much cut out the boring part for you guys. You don't really want to see me unwire all this stuff. Took me a long time to get, because I had zip tied to, this is the 30-inch up there, zip tied all the way across there. Everything that was like tucked down in here, zip tied a million times. You guys should have seen how many freaking zip ties I used. And then we had to go inside and tear apart the center console to get the wiring back up through the grommet that's here and pull it all out. You guys all know pretty much how to wire this thing. I didn't really want to bore you with, you know, taking it all apart. But that being said, here is everything. We have the mounting bolts here. These are actually the lights with the actual mounting like brackets, and then all the wiring is right there. So the only thing that somebody's going to need when I do sell these eventually is a switch, which is, I mean, you can get them for, you know, a couple bucks on Amazon. The reason I just kind of cut all that nonsense out is because I know you guys don't want to see that. You did come here to see the Road Armor A-pillar mounts installed. Unfortunately, I don't have any lights because I'm selling the cubes together like as a set, so that way I don't have to take apart the brackets and keep track of all the little screws and stuff. I'm just gonna end up ordering new cube lights for up here and then new cube lights for the front bumper here. So that'll actually be easier for me because I can wire this straight into the factory fog lights, and then I'll just rerun the cubes and the 50-inch once they come in. It won't be that big of a deal. I'll just have to loosen up the bolts or something and tuck the wiring behind there. So we're just gonna come over here and start with, oh dang, no, we're good. We're gonna start with the passenger side here and get her going. It shouldn't take too long to install this. I wouldn't assume it's gonna take all that long, but honestly without the lights it shouldn't take too long at all because there's no wiring involved. Alright guys, so there you have it. We cleaned this up. There's no more dual mount cubes here. We do have, this is actually like thick steel, like this is actually metal compared to the factory ones are actually, they're plastic. Now we have some actual armor here. The only thing I don't like about this entire thing is we used some stainless like silver bolts. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. You can always paint them or get different bolts, but I would have preferred for these to be black. I just feel like there's not a lot of people that have like silver bolts showing. I mean, look at even factory Jeep bolts are black. So other than that little tiny detail, I really like these. It really cleaned up this entire side. I mean, I do miss the dual cubes, but I do have a spot here for one cube mount. And then you can see here, this is where the mount for the 50 or 51 inch light bar goes across. The paint does match pretty darn well, so thank you to John for painting those for me. I know he painted them and they kind of were on back order, not really on back order, but he was backed up through the winter here, so it did take us a little while to get these back, but that was not an issue because, I mean, look how great they match. Go over here to the driver's side, you can see the same. All these different angles are actually kind of cool. They like show almost like a gradient of the green kind of going down, the lighter to darker depending on, you know, the angle of, you know, where the light's coming from. But I mean, they are a pretty good match. You're going to use the factory bolts to mount them, and it's honestly, these did not take long. I mean, maybe 5 minutes to install. Obviously you won't be able to get your hand up underneath, you know, underneath this piece and underneath this piece to hold the nut on the back side to bolt it down. So obviously you're going to put those two together firsthand. You would put lights on here, but obviously we don't have those just yet. We're waiting to get those, but not a big deal. We'll just loosen these bolts up here and then tuck the wiring down behind so it's all nice and hidden. There is some space here, you can see all the way up there, but that is just like a little bit of a leeway here in case you get like too long of a mount. Too long of a light bar or too short of a light bar. We're gonna get a shorter one so that way it'll pull that in there, so that's not that big of a deal. We're just waiting for the light bar, and we're gonna mount that and that'll pull that in. But other than that, I love how much it blends in. Like you can't even tell that's an aftermarket part. It looks, the paint matches perfectly. It looks like it came that way, which is awesome. And that's exactly what I wanted, because I didn't want the black mount or powder coated black mount, because I wanted it to blend in. I didn't want it to stand out because, like I said, I want that light bar to look like it's floating, or this light here to look like it's just hovering there, instead of like obviously having like a powder coated black mount. I think the Jeep already has like a fair amount of black parts on it. Oh, you guys didn't see, after I removed the RBP step boards, I put my rock sliders back on. So for now, these are going to be what's on the side of my Jeep. So these are the factory rock sliders. So good thing I didn't get rid of those, because obviously we're using them now. But yeah, I think there's enough black on the Jeep right now, especially because I have the black hardtop. I wanted that to blend in and just look, you know, as clean as possible. And I think that, you know, this achieved that look. Alright, so I'm looking at it now, and I just kind of have to get used to it, not having these dual cube mounts here. I'm just so used to seeing those there. But I mean, it'll get better once I have that cube on there, and then I have the 50 inch or 51 inch, whatever inch light bar across the top. I just have these weird little devil horns up there, which honestly wouldn't look so bad if it was red, but it being green, this is it's just a little weird to have those up there. But I am definitely glad that I did the painted, because I think if I were to have that, like it basically be powder coated like this front bumper, it just kind of have like that texture. I think it would just kind of blend into the top too much and just have, I don't know, personally I just like, you know, how it's just clean like that. Like I said, floating light bar, floating cube mount, I think it'll look a lot better, and I think I'm gonna get black bolts for that as well, or at least paint these so that way they kind of blend in a little bit better with like the whole aesthetic. Anyways guys, that's gonna be it for me today. Super easy install. Literally, if I didn't have to like unwire my like cube mounts or anything, installing these without wiring anything is literally 5 minutes. And I think, I mean, they're pretty close, you know, to factory match on the side. You know, on the cowl mount, it's pretty close to like factory match to where all these lines line up. So it actually is fairly easy and fairly clean to install. As you can tell, we have the rotor armor 50-inch light bar mount with the cube. They actually sell them without the cube little mount there, but this with the cube. We have the fenders, we have the inner fender liners as well as the rears now, the front bumper and the rear bumper, which we have to get the swing gate fixed for, but we also have some other stuff on the way, as well as another sponsor surprise on the way as well. So I mean, there's going to be a lot of changes coming to this Jeep here soon, so I hope you guys stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for tuning in to watch this little install and me kind of go through the Jeep. Actually, I'm going to disconnect my battery to see, hopefully that fixes my camera issue. If you guys know of this issue, like, I don't know if maybe I just unplugged it and plugged it back in too many times, or what it is, but I'm going to unplug my battery, leave it off for a little bit, and then hopefully that will reset the whole system and it'll be able to read the camera. If you guys know any other tricks or how to fix this problem, like, get down in the comments, let me know. Other than that, if you haven't been here before, get down there, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It really helps the video, you know, spread a little bit more, spread awareness. We are almost to 10,000 subscribers, so thank you guys for that. And as always, we will catch you guys in the next one.